Hi guys, I wanted to share a video driving in the rain to show the differences from driving in the dry. So recently I posted a video of Eagles Canyon Raceway ECR on the 2.55 mile racetrack on the old surface. It's actually a very interesting surface to look at in the rain. As you can already tell right now, I'm driving a very different line from the last video I posted of the racing line in the dry, and I'm going to explain why as we go through the line and around the track. Right here, for example, I should be on the left side of the track, but the race line on the dry has been polished because there's so much traffic that goes over it that it becomes really polished and therefore very slippery in the rain. So here you could tell I was offline, but I came out with more speed on the straightaway than this guy that was following the dry racing line. So here you can tell I am on the racing line, but I don't turn in at the same point. I wait to go a little bit further past the racing line, and again here I'm not on the racing line, but eventually you have to cross it, like right here. And so there's no way around crossing the line. You're gonna have to, because the racing line typically goes from one edge of the track to the other edge, back to the original edge. So you do have to cross it, but the trick is to cross it in a way that you avoid too much slippage and you retain control of the vehicle. So again, here I'm mid-track. I'm going past that curve. You can see I'm still sliding though, and then I'm back in the center of the track. So here I noticed that there was plenty of grip on the race line right here. So I'm on the right side of the track, but I did stay a little bit far off of the curb, which I would be much closer to in the racing line, and similarly on the second curb. And now here again I'm mid-track, I'm not on the exit. And here I take the turn a little bit wider than the racing line, so I'm not on the racing line. Now I'm going to come up here to the apex, and as you can tell, I did get a little bit close to it. I had to cross the race line and I drifted away towards the exit. Now here I'm getting back on the dry race line. I'm coming all the way to the right side of the track. I'm just very patient before I turn. And you see how close to the edge of the track I'm here? And then here I don't get too close to this curb, and I don't turn too early into the apex. I displace the apex and I turn more mid-track, and as you could tell, there was no slippage on the exit, so that worked out pretty well. Again, here I'm coming mid-track as opposed to all the way left. I'm using a little bit of that patch that you can see that's newer because there's more grip. It's not as polished, and again I cross the track, cross the race line. And I stay mid-track all the way up here because there's better braking traction. And then here you can tell I still slid a little bit, but I just got it under control. I was trying to carry a little bit more speed to see if I could. And then again here, as I crossed the dry line, my car wanted to go sideways. Here I stay a little bit off the curb so that I don't slide going downhill. And then here I'm mid-track, go past the dry line, and then I just stay off of the curb, and I cut back to a mid-track exit, and I carry as much speed as possible. Down the straight, I'm going to have time to readjust my position. I'm going to go a little bit further right, because you see those new patches right there. They do offer grip, so I do use them even though they're on the dry line. And here I'm patient, I don't turn into the apex. You see I'm off the curb, I'm going to cross the dry line, but I'm able to put the power down because I'm almost straight by the time I do. Now here I stay mid-track for two reasons. One, there's a lot of water because you can see the water is draining from the left to the right, so I don't want to be all the way right where all the water is, especially when there's standing water. And then I did get much better traction braking there, and you see that patch there on the left. I was able to put a couple of wheels on that too to help me with traction. Now here it's off camber, so it's going to be a slippery part of the track, and right there when you cross the line it also wants to always go sideways when you're on power. Get back to the dry line here, but just be patient, offset the apexes, just stay a little bit further out. I don't go all the way out to the track here because that would be the dry line, and again I'm off of the apex. So I basically follow a line that's a little bit more mid-track all the way through. It doesn't allow me to carry as much speed, but it allows me to carry more speed than I would on the racing dry line. And here I just feathered the throttle there to make it up the hill without spinning. And I'm going back to the right side of the track here, and I'm going to be very patient before I turn. I'm going to go further than I usually would so that there is grip and it's not a polished surface. And then I'm going to be patient, displace my apex, and get a little bit of spin there as I cross the dry line. No big deal, keep it going forward. Don't go all the way left. Again, the water's going left. Also, it's pretty bumpy on the left side of the track. And just brake more mid-track. Displace a little bit this apex, but use that newer patch. Stay a little bit patient there, closer to the grass a little bit longer, so that I don't get too close to the dry line again when I'm turning sharp. Go back in the middle of the track here, and again I'm playing the game to avoid this dry line. I have to cross it, but I'm trying to be very careful every time I cross it. So here I turn it a little bit wider. I try to rotate the car more sooner and then cross the line right there in a more straightforward position so that I don't have as much slippage. Staying mid-track here, crossing the dry line here, turning where I have a little bit more grip, but still I try to speed up the hill, so I couldn't avoid the slide there, and exit a little bit more mid-track as well. And this is the last lap of this session, but I'm still driving fairly fast because, well, relatively speaking, because I didn't create as much. First of all, it's a colder day, but also I didn't heat up the car as much, or it doesn't need as much cool down, even though I will be pulling into the pits after this lap. If you notice, there was a checkered flag and then black flags at every corner station. There's one right there on the left. So I stay mid-track here, and I'm going to try to catch that patch of newer asphalt, the lighter color patch on the left side. And I'm using the camber there also to carry me. And I always have to finesse this part, and you can tell I was drifting again across the line. It's just off camber, really hard to retain traction. So you see I'm offline, I didn't go all the way to the right, then I'm patient, I turn later than I usually would, and I cross back again the dry line to a mid-track exit. I'm a little bit wide on this turn so I can avoid the racing line, but as I get up the hill, I'm going to have to cross the racing line. And there you go, I carry the drift all the way to the exit here. And actually, you can tell that if you look at the corner station there on the left, this guy is clapping. He was clapping with really wide arms. I think he enjoyed the way I was sliding the car around the track, so he was, and maybe he was also congratulating me for driving in the rain. Just maybe that alone was probably an accomplishment in his book, because a lot of people decide to cancel to come to the track when it rains, unfortunately. It's a real shame too that people just don't want to drive in the rain, because first of all, it teaches you car control far better, far faster than when you drive in the dry, because the surface is so much looser. It's also at lower speeds, so it's a little bit safer, even though it doesn't feel like it because it's so slippery. And it just teaches you to pay attention to details so much more about the racetrack, because I mean, unless it's like a brand new racetrack, a brand new surface that has not been polished or that has not been worked on or anything like that, then usually in such cases you can just drive the dry line in the wet. But if it's not the case, it's not a brand new racetrack, a brand new surface, super high-end surface or anything like that, then you do have to work for grip, find grip, do whatever it takes to figure out where you're going to need to place your car on the racetrack in every section in order to conserve the most traction available at all times, and effectively optimize your momentum and minimize your lap times. So this is a video. It's my friend Troy in front of me. He's in a 2004 996 GT3. Good track setup. It's a really nice car. Him and I are both on street tires because of the amount of rain. We would be going nowhere on slicks or semi-slicks. So just street tires, doing what we can to to manage the track in the rain, and we showed up and we're ready to learn and ready to see if we can figure out how to get around this track as fast as possible. And there were not that many people around, so the track was pretty open for us. This is the advanced group with Porsche Club of America, PCA, and he's a really good driver, very fast in the dry. Nobody catches him in the advanced group. He's a much faster car than me, so I get that as an excuse. But hey, I still came ready to take my chances in the rain. Now, in the rain, you still have the advantage if you show up in a faster car, more horsepower, because effectively what you try and do is you square off the corner. So when you get to a corner, you try to rotate the car really quickly and then create a straightaway and just accelerate down a straightaway. And then the next corner is another right angle. You rotate the car really quickly and you're back on the gas. So if every car does this, you all spend a lot of time making that turn. You have to slow down to a halt and then make that rotation happen really quickly, and then you're on the gas and you stretch the straightaways as much as possible. So again, more horsepower will play a role. But like I said, I was ready to take my chances and see if I could use my driving to catch him in the rain, and see if that could be finally the day I get to pass Troy. Got Mike, an advanced instructor with PCA, with me in the car, and you can already tell we take a little bit different line. I come a little bit wider here, and here you can see Troy in turn 2 on the exit. He got sideways. Now I'm a little bit sideways here as well, but I'm carrying a drift, so it didn't slow me down like it slowed him down, so I was able to catch him even with less power going up the hill. And really trying to carry momentum here. Again, I have a little bit different line, and I really put the power down right there as I'm drifting out of turn 3. Now in turn 4 right here, I did something that may have been a little bit scary for Mike. I actually drifted going downhill there in that turn. I just really wanted to stay on Troy, and you see he carried a much wider arc than me in this turn going up the hill. That was turn 5, and so he did travel further distance than I did, but now he's just putting his power down the straight. And unfortunately for me, what comes after turn 6 is another long straight where he'll have the advantage to just put the power down. So I'm just trying to get as much momentum coming out of 6 to offset this difference in power, but it's going to be hard because it's just a long straight again, and he's a good driver, so he could only mess up so much if he were to mess up at all. So we're staying on the right side of the track because our exit took us there, and we figured there was enough grip due to this patch right here that you can see I'm on right now. And so I'm coming into turn 7 using the camber right there to carry me, and I'm trying to catch up Troy. He's a little bit away now, so I'm trying my best to keep the car on the edge of traction. You can see here I managed to not quite drift, barely, and coming into here I try to carry as much speed as possible, and you can tell I'm just sliding a little bit, but I manage it, and again here a little bit too much speed, but I managed to carry it through. So you can see I closed the gap already coming into turn 10, and now I'm looking at Troy, and he let the car get sideways. So as you can tell, I pretty quickly realized I was going to get past him. I was pretty happy about that, I'm not going to lie.
By the way, your car control skills are better than mine, okay? So, that being said, maybe a little less pitch and catch if you can maintain momentum through some of these corners. We might be a little faster. Okay. That being said, I'm having a blast. It's fun to watch you. You keep ahead of the car better than anybody I've ever seen. So,
what Mike is suggesting there is that I try to manage the amount of slip angle I carry. When he says pitch and catch, he means that whenever I cross the dry line, I let the car come at an angle, and then I bring it back straight. So it goes sideways and I come back straight, and he's telling me to try to manage this because if you slide too much, you can only go so fast. Now, given the fact that this is a slippery surface, some slip angle will be acceptable, but he's right that you want to manage that and do it in a very optimal fashion. Don't overdo it. And so one of his suggestions that is coming is to try to use third gear instead of second gear, where the torque will be diminished due to the taller gear, and so the car won't want to go sideways as much. Now, I don't know the answer which is faster, but you can judge for yourself and see what you think.
Let's try third gear here. Let's just see what happens. Because you're having a hard time getting it out. Let's see what happens if we have third gear. Okay, go. I think that it feels slower, but I'm not sure it was. What do you think?
What I think is he's right. I mean, it felt a little bit slower because we didn't get sideways, but I really don't have the answer for sure. We would need data to make that call. I will say that I do like to use second gear. I tend to like to use the smallest gear I can and then just manage the throttle. But given how slippery this racetrack is, his suggestion of using third really could make sense. It would really be worth testing out. In fact, he was just suggesting to try third gear in this corner as well. I'm in third gear here, but I still carry a pretty big drift.
It was a little more manageable.
What I really need to do is to test third gear lap after lap and see if I can start to feed in more and more throttle earlier and earlier, and only then record data to see if the data shows that I was faster in third gear versus second gear. But I got to be comfortable in second and third, go as fast as I can in either gear before I can actually compare them. So this is too soon to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the sliding. I know I did when I was in the car, and that's always something that can be an enemy too, because you want to slide, it's fun, but then you forget to be fast. So if you want to have fun, that's fine. If you want to be fast, then you really have to manage your sliding. Make sure it's not counterproductive. Make sure it doesn't slow you down. Keep carrying momentum. Really work hard to assess every single section of the track, where the best traction might be, and really capitalize on that everywhere. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also very interesting, very challenging. So I personally really love that. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos of the sort. Thank you for watching.